drops, missed tackles, bad decision making, and it really showed up in every phase of football. And if you do that, you're going to get your ass kicked, and that's exactly what happened.
Decision every year whether to play the starters or not. Starting offense didn't really do a lot. You still feel like you got value getting them out there.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of value. Just giving, I think it's a good lesson. You better get your mind right, ready to play football. And, I mean, it's a gladiator sport, and if you don't, you're going to get humbled really quickly. But I do think there's a lot of value, like I talked about. Just, we're going to be playing some night games. It's good to hopefully we can clean up some things along the way in our process of getting ready for a football game. And our guys, I think there's a lot to learn from this experience.
Number 2 line depth, I guess, in the grand scheme of the preseason, what have you thought about them in comparison to tonight? So, are you worried about what you saw tonight, or is it kind of just?
I think if you're not concerned about it, then you're probably not pushing as hard as you should be. So, I'm definitely concerned about it. Like anytime you just play with poor technique and poor fundamentals, and then you're making bad decisions, and it's hard to play the game of football if you get called for a holding penalty it seemed like every other play.
Will you guys adjust or change any of the work you had planned this week based on tonight?
Probably not. If anything, we'll push a little harder.
You mentioned the bad decisions. Was that Hardman on the punt, on the muff punt? Was that a bad decision to field the bouncing ball there, or is that an acceptable risk there?
I got to go back and take a peek at it just and see how far back we were. I mean, I don't know if we were aligned at the right, distance back. I think it seems like a pretty routine play that happens more often than not, where you can scoop that punt up. I was disappointed with that, but also, we can't field a punt on the 5-yard line. So those were obviously 2 bad decisions.
Are there things that have happened in practice in terms of sustaining a drive in practice that maybe, showed up tonight? Similar things that you've been concerned about the last 2 weeks?
Well, I think a lot of things showed up tonight that I really wasn't necessarily anticipating. Like all those penalties were a major problem, and it's hard to get into any type of rhythm when you're having multiple penalties. I mean, you have a short yardage situation, 3rd and 1. It looks like it's going to be an easy first down, and you get called for a holding. I mean, you just can't have those.
So, Matt, do you need to officiate practice more closely to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you gotta look at everything.
So
I mean, there was a lot of penalties both sides of the ball tonight, and that I would say it's pretty typical early on, especially in preseason into the early stages of the regular season. But definitely got to work a lot on our techniques so we don't put ourselves in those types of positions.
So when it comes to preseason, I understand you're pissed, and I get it. How do you keep it in perspective that, you're playing without 3 of your top wide receivers?
Yeah, bottom line, though, you just don't want to put bad football out there. And so whether it's preseason or not, it's a little disappointed, I would say. So we got the thing about it is you got to have the urgency to fix it, and it's got to get fixed fast because, I mean, the regular season is going to be here in no time.
So did it go poorly enough that you would think about playing your starters again in Indy, or would that be too much of a?
Yeah, probably not gonna do that, if I'm being honest with you guys right now. I mean, obviously things could change. They're always subject to change. So we'll see how these next couple days of practice go. We'll see how we practice versus Indy, and make a decision after that.
Jaden Reed looked like he was in a walking boot. Is that related to the toe injury that had him on the NFI going into camp, or is this something different?
No, from my understanding, it's something different. So, it's unfortunate, but hopefully we'll get him back before the regular season.
Is there any concern that you won't?
Potentially. I think anytime you see a guy in a boot, that's a concern.
Anderson or White, did either of those look real concerning?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on with White. I know all I was told was a foot. I think he hit a nerve or something and he couldn't feel his foot. But and then Zane's got a knee, so we'll see. I don't know the extent of it right now.
Obviously, Amar Johnson had the one good play for you there at the end. What have you thought of his big picture through, 2 weeks here?
Yeah, I thought it was a good showing for him. I thought he ran hard and, obviously flashed some playmaking ability, and so he'll probably earn some more opportunities next week.
Matt, did you get a chance to see what Jordan Morgan did tonight and just any impressions?
Yeah, I would be lying to you if I got to go back and watch the tape on that.
Did Stenovich call the plays? Did you split those between a couple guys on the dribble, or how'd you do that?
No, Steno did, but Steno's been calling it for the last couple preseasons, so.
2 more, please.
When did McNamee get into town?
At about 11 p.m. last night.
I don't think you kicked Hale last year. Would you want to give this guy some opportunities and get
Yeah,
him
we'll see.
kicked off?
We'll see. Yeah, he handled all the kickoffs, and we'll see how he responds. It was his first exposure with him was tonight. So, but I thought he came in and did a nice job.
Man, it's never good when you're talking about the punter, but did Daniel have a good night at least?
Sure seemed like it. I mean, I'm sure his leg's a little sore than we'd like it to be. Definitely had to use him more than we wanted to.
Good, thank you.
Have a good night.
Jordan, what'd you make of the work you had tonight and the results?
Yeah, so we had 2 drives, and definitely something that I think we could have done a lot better on. We didn't move the ball very well, didn't put up any points. So, there's going to be stuff we look back on and want to clean up going forward. But obviously, limited action.
Is there, so it sounds like chances are you won't play in the next 2. Is there value to be gained from playing tonight, even though things didn't go particularly well?
Oh, definitely. I think just for everybody getting back on the field, going against somebody else, seeing new looks, there's definitely value in it. And it's, I don't think week 1 of the season is the first time you want to be, stepping on the field in a live game. So there's definitely value there.
Jordan, the sack you took kind of got turned around a little bit. I had a little bit of a flashback to Brazil. Like, when you're in a game like this, you can't play not to get hurt, right? But do you have to make sure that you're not putting yourself in peril in a game that doesn't count?
Definitely. I think that's, especially as a job of a quarterback, preseason, you don't want to be taking unnecessary hits. And, when you get into situations like that, where you start moving around, it's like, all right, how do I get the ball to my hand or get down? So, I had a moment where I was trying to, step up, get out of there, and they kind of collapsed on me and was trying to move around. But, there was nothing really there. I don't think I had room to take off. So, one of those instances, just trying my best to get down right there.
You talk about having room to take off. If this is 4 weeks ago and it's the Lions here, are you picking that first down up with your legs? Is that kind of like a business decision at that point, not to take the hit?
I'm going to try my best for sure. Not guaranteeing it, but I'm going to try my best. And like I said, preseason, you got to be smart in situations like that and not try and take as many hits right there.
Does that buzzer go off in your head when, okay, wait a second, it's August, don't push that throttle?
Yeah, I mean, when you're out there on the field, it's like it's football. So you're just kind of reacting to everything, and it's hard to, put yourself in that mindset. It kind of started going off a little late once I started dancing around trying to make guys miss, and it's like, man, just get down or get the ball in my hand. So it starts going off, but at the end of the day, when you're on that field, it's just everything happens so fast, you're just reacting.
Jordan, I understand it's 2 plays in a preseason game, but with Golden, when you convert the first 3rd down, then he draws the pass interference on one of the best corners in the league. Is that the next step to him earning your trust for games that count?
Yeah, I mean, I think for anybody, especially coming in as a rookie, practice is one thing, but then obviously you got to go out there and do it in the game. So, MG, I've seen a lot of great things from him in practice, and to go out there and, execute a slant route like that, and then obviously draw the PI, it's 2 good reps for him right there. But there's going to be so much more that we're going to have to build on to keep building this thing, keep, figuring each other out and understand the timing and different things like that. But like I said, you always want to be able to see the practice, things like that translate to the game. So, I got a lot of confidence in MG right now.
Did you make a conscious decision that you wanted to get him the ball, or is it just kind of the way it worked out tonight?
No, that was just the way, the way the play call worked out and the coverages that they're doing. And, obviously we tried to throw at Sauce a couple times, but, he's a pretty good DB. So I think on that one, we had a mirrored concept, so I was trying to work away from it, away from him right there.
Did you watch any of their tape before this game?
No, that's the tough part. So we watched, with the new head coach, new defense coordinator, we watched 49ers preseason games from a couple years ago and some Lions stuff. But obviously with, new head coach, new defense coordinator, you never know what their new scheme might be, what they're going to run. Obviously it's preseason, so we weren't expecting too many crazy looks or anything like that. And I don't think they did too much. They played cover 2 and man for the most part. So, we didn't have much tape to work from.
2 more for Aaron.
Do you get more out of a preseason game or a joint practice? A few series in a preseason game or a joint practice?
No, I definitely think, I think in the joint practice, that's when teams, show a little bit more about what they're going to be about. Especially going against defenses, you see more. We'll have pressure periods, we'll have red zone periods where, you'll see a lot more different coverages, different schemes. I feel like in the preseason games, everybody tries to not show too much. So I think the joint practices, you get a lot of benefits from that. And I think the game setting is more just being out there on the field, with the crowd in that environment, putting yourself in that stage.
So, Jordan, I get you don't want to play poorly as an offense, right? Tonight was not good enough, I get that. But you got Christian on PUP, you got Dontavion with his calf, you got Jaden in a boot. I mean, can you put in perspective, okay, you're not happy with what you did, but let's not act like it's the end of the world either. Matt was pretty upset though, so I guess where do you fall on this whole thing?
Yeah, I think for starters, it's never fun losing a game like that, where it just feels like nothing's really going your way and we're not really making any big time plays. So that's the tough part. But it's preseason. Like you said, we got guys banged up left and right. So there's areas that we're going to look at and definitely want to clean up going forward. And there's a lot from just pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties, and just execution as an offense. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to clean up. But I'm not going to rush to any judgment on a preseason game. I think that's what it's there for. It's there to go out there. We've been going against our defense for so long to be able to see some new looks and see what it's like to go out there and execute. And sometimes you'll go have a great game. I remember Bengals game, preseason game a couple years ago. We put up a lot of points and a lot of yards. So there's instances where it's high and there's instances where it's low. So I think there's just a lot of areas to clean up from an offensive perspective. But it's good tape to go learn from, grow from. But it's week 1 of preseason, so we're not going to rush to any conclusions.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.